Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really focused look at EDGC's NICE NIPT service. It's a fascinating bit of genomic tech coming out of South Korea.
Right. And EDGC, you might know them already for their work in genomics, especially, NIPT and cancer analysis.
Exactly. And they've actually, interestingly, just recently dipped their toes into epigenetic clocks with EpiClock measuring biological age, that kind of thing, longevity wellness.
Yeah. That's a whole other area.
It is. But today, our main goal, our mission, if you like, is really to get under the hood of their main NIPT offering, the NICE service.
Okay.
Because for anyone expecting, getting that early, accurate info is just so important. We
Yeah.
want to see what makes EDGC's approach special here.
Okay, let's unpack that. So NICE stands for non-invasive chromosome examination, and their tagline is pretty bold. From the world's first to the world's finest.
Yeah, that definitely makes a statement.
It does, and it points straight to their origins. EDGC was set up as a joint venture, Korea-US, and the key person here is Dr. Min Seolb.
Ah,
What's really crucial is that Dr. Lee, well, he was the actual pioneer behind the very first NIPT, developed it back in 2006 at Sequenom over in the US.
wow, okay. So EDGC isn't just using NIPT tech, they're directly linked to its invention.
Exactly. Through Diagnomics and their Korean partner, the E1 Life Science Institute, they essentially built IICE right on top of that foundational work.
It's like the original inventors just kept going, refining it.
Pretty much. And if you look at their timeline, it's just constant development. 2006 to 2011, that's the initial NIPT development and the launch of Maternit 21 at Sequenom.
Right, the first commercial one.
Yeah. Then jump to 2013, 2015, EDGC gets established in Korea. They publish the first Korean NIPT paper, get their first Korean patent. That really cemented them there, building on the U.S. base.
And they didn't slow down. 2015 sounds like a big year, first cloud-based analysis system,
Yeah.
and getting CLIA certified in the U.S.
Yep. CLAA, that's the Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendment, a huge quality benchmark for labs.
Absolutely. Shows they were thinking big internationally right from the start. And then 2017, 2018, they developed their own proprietary stuff, cfDNA tubes, reference materials.
And got CE marking, KFDA approval for those.
Yeah.
CFDNA, that's the cell-free fetal DNA, of course.
Right, making their own components. That signals wanting total control over the process, doesn't it?
It really does. And looking forward, 2019 to 2025, you see more global moves, Japan approval, California approval, and significantly validating testing from 8 weeks.
We'll definitely come back to that 8-week point.
Yeah, it's important. But within those broader strokes, the specific milestones show that constant innovation. Like 2014, they got Korea's first NIPT patent.
Okay.
2015, not just the first validation study published in Korea, but also a patent for fetal gender and sex chromosome testing. And that CLIA certified cloud system launched the same year. The pace is quite something.
It really is. And it just kept going. Patents for their analysis algorithms in 2016, that multi-Z-score approach in 2017.
Which is a more, sophisticated way to figure out the risk.
Right. And then a whole bunch in 2018, sex determination, microdeletions, even filtering out the maternal cfDNA better.
Getting a clearer signal from the fetus.
Exactly. And being named a world-class product by the Korean government in 2019, well, that speaks volumes about their standing there.
If you tie it all together, these details, they tell a story. It's not just history, it's continuous refinement, pushing the tech forward. More recently, you've got the advanced two-step Z-score patent in 2022, NIPT approval in Japan in 2023, then 2024, CLIA certification for their lab in Korea, plus launching GENU, that fetal gender test.
Expanding capabilities and reach.
Definitely. And what's expected for 2025, the California lab license, their own cfDNA extraction system, and that validated 8-week testing. It all points to more advancements. So yeah, it's about actively shaping NIPT's future.
Totally agree. It shows this deep commitment to quality backed by patents and, crucially, those regulatory green lights, which naturally makes you think about their global validation. Used in over 30 countries, you said.
Yeah, over 30. Yeah. That kind of it implies a lot of trust worldwide.
So what underpins that trust? It has to be the quality markers, right?
I think so. The certifications are key. CLIA and CAP-P in the U.S. CAP-P is the College of American Pathologists, another big one.
Right.
Then the official NIPT certification in Japan, the upcoming California license. These aren't easy standards to meet.
No kidding.
Plus, having CE marking, ISO 13485 for medical device quality, and KFDA for their tubes and reference materials, it builds a strong picture of quality control.
And then there's the AI. That seems like a really core differentiator for NICE. They talk about a proprietary AI-enhanced multidimensional analysis engine. Okay, what does that actually mean?
Well, it means they're not just doing the standard sequencing, the NGS.
Which reads the DNA.
Right. They're adding this layer of artificial intelligence on top. The idea is it gives them better performance, helps detect things earlier.
And how does the AI get smart enough to do that?
It's trained on data. Lots of it. They say hundreds of thousands of real clinical samples. So think of it like the AI has seen countless genetic puzzles before.
Okay.
It learns to spot patterns, anomalies, even really subtle ones, maybe better or faster than just standard analysis could. The claim is it filters noise, finds rare issues, automates risk scoring.
Leading to more accurate results.
Leading to highly accurate results and, tying back to that earlier point, enabling that validated 8-week testing window.
Okay, that 8-week thing is definitely a hook, but before we dive deeper into that,
Right.
let's just appreciate the control EDGC seems to have.
Yeah.
You mentioned the proprietary development, the total quality control. It's not just the AI, is it?
Not at all. It's the whole chain. Take their cfDNA preservation tube, they developed it themselves.
Why is that so important?
Because fetal DNA in maternal blood is fragile. You need to keep it stable, especially if samples are traveling long distances internationally. Having their own KFDA and CE certified tube ensures quality from the very first step.
Makes sense.
Then, their NIPT-specific standard reference material. They're apparently the world's first to make this in-house.
Really? What's the benefit there?
Consistency. It acts as an internal quality control. They can ensure every batch of tests performs the same way, trace accuracy back. It's likely part of why they've done so well in Korean lab assessments for, 9 years?
Wow. Okay, so tube, reference material. What else?
They have an integrated LIMS that's a laboratory information management system. It tracks everything, step by step. Real-time monitoring, error prevention, full traceability. Absolutely vital in a clinical setting.
And it handles multiple languages, regions, necessary for that global footprint.
Exactly. Then the reporting system, it's automated, linked directly to the AI. It generates personalized risk scores, clear clinical summaries.
Easy for doctors to use.
Right. Multi-language reports, audit trails for transparency, user-friendly design. They seem to have thought about the clinician's experience.
And for the clinics or hospitals using the service?
There's a client access portal, basically a secure website to manage everything, submitting samples, tracking progress, getting reports, case history. It even has role-based access, notifications, FAQs, and channels for support, like genetic counseling.
So it's a really complete package, end to end.
That seems to be the idea. And having control over all these pieces, from the tube to the report portal, potentially gives them an edge. Faster results, maybe safer processes, greater accuracy compared to providers who might outsource parts of it.
Which brings us back to that key advantage, early detection. They really push the fact that NICE is clinically validated for testing from 8 weeks.
Yeah, and the science behind that is interesting. It hinges on being able to reliably detect that fetal cfDNA, even when there's very, very little of it early on.
And the AI helps make sense of that low signal.
That's the claim. The advanced algorithms are needed to interpret that data accurately. This combination allows assessment much earlier than the typical 10 weeks for many NIPTs.
And for parents-to-be, the benefit is?
Well, potentially earlier clinical decisions, if needed. And perhaps just as importantly, earlier peace of mind. Getting reassurance sooner in the pregnancy.
And they position this 8-week window as one of the earliest validated options globally.
That's what the information suggests, yeah. The clinical validation is key there.
So if we were to quickly sum up how EDGC NICE tries to differentiate itself.
Okay, let's try. Technology origin. Invented by the original NIPT team versus licensed tech.
Right. Earliest testing. Validated at 8 weeks versus usually 10 weeks plus.
Analysis platform. NGS plus their proprietary AI and cloud system versus mostly just NGS.
Quality infrastructure. Those in-house tubes and reference materials versus bought-in components.
Regulatory coverage. A wide net CLIA, CAP, Japan, California, soon. CE versus maybe more limited approval.
And global operations.
Yeah.
Active in 30-plus countries versus more local services.
Exactly. It paints a picture of a comprehensive, deeply rooted offering.
So that final statement from the sources, EDGC NICE isn't just a non-invasive prenatal test. It's a globally recognized standard of care in prenatal genomics.
Wow.
It feels like that's the image they're aiming for.
Yeah, they're positioning it as the complete platform, built by the inventors, validated early, full quality control, AI smarts, proven globally, ethically grounded.
It's interesting how they've built this whole ecosystem, like you said, not just the test itself, but everything around it, the support, the portal, the counseling access.
Right, it's the full service aspect.
Okay, so to quickly recap our deep dive today on EDGC's NICE NIPT, we've seen its unique link back to the very start of NIPT.
The pioneering connection.
We've looked at the tech, particularly that AI-driven analysis and the proprietary components ensuring quality control.
Right, the tubes, the reference materials, the whole integrated system.
And we highlighted that major benefit of clinically validated testing from 8 weeks gestation.
That early detection window?
So a question for you listening. When you think about these kinds of advancements in prenatal care, what ripple effects could they have? For parents, for healthcare providers, how does getting this kind of information earlier potentially change things?
Yeah, what does earlier, more accurate, non-invasive testing mean for reproductive health choices, or just the experience of pregnancy itself?
And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. Where does this go next? With technology evolving so fast, how might NIPT continue to develop? Could it merge with other genomic insights for an even deeper picture of prenatal health down the line?
Interesting question.
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.